Have you ever walked into a room and noticed how one person instantly commanded attention without saying a single word? No fancy titles, no loud introductions, yet somehow everyone felt their presence. That's not magic. That's respect earned through silent power. In a world where everyone is shouting to be heard, the ones who speak without words are the ones who truly stand out. Today, I'm going to show you something that can change how people see you. In meetings, interviews, even in everyday life, you don't need wealth. You don't need fame. All you need is control over the one thing most people overlook: your silent signals. Because respect doesn't start with what you say, it starts with what you show. By the time you finish listening to this speech, you'll know exactly how to walk into any room and command instant respect without saying a single word. Imagine walking into a room filled with people, conversations buzzing, laughter echoing, the usual chaos of human energy bouncing around. Most people enter quietly, slide into a corner, maybe smile nervously, hoping not to draw too much attention. But then there's that one person who steps in and everything shifts just a little. No words, introductions, yet somehow everyone feels them. That's not charisma you're born with. That's presence, and presence begins with posture. Your posture is your silent declaration of who you are before your mouth ever opens. It tells the world how you feel about yourself. It tells others whether they should look up to you, walk over you, or walk with you. Most people underestimate how much of their life energy, confidence, and respect is lost simply because their body says, I don't belong here. Let's get real. The way you hold yourself is a message. When your shoulders slump, when your eyes drop, when your movements are small and hesitant, you're unconsciously broadcasting uncertainty. People read that instantly because humans are wired to pick up on physical cues. You could be brilliant, talented, and capable, but if your body language says, I'm unsure, people will believe the body, not the words. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine standing tall, shoulders open, chin up, feet grounded, not stiff, just centered. You're breathing deeply, your chest is open, your energy is calm but strong. You're not trying to impress anyone, you're simply being. That moment, your presence becomes magnetic. People feel it before they even realize why. That's what respect feels like in motion. When I say master your posture, I don't mean pretend, I mean embody confidence before you feel it, because the mind follows the body. Change your physiology, your state changes instantly. If you're nervous, change how you stand. If you feel small, expand your chest, take up more space. You don't need to say, I'm confident. Your body already said it for you. This is not about arrogance or dominance. This is about alignment between how you see yourself and how you show yourself. You can't expect others to respect you if your body language contradicts your worth. Respect begins the moment you respect your own presence enough to stand like it matters. Remember once walking into a conference where hundreds of people were gathered. I hadn't even spoken yet. I just walked in centered, calm, connected, and I watched as people subtly turned their heads. Not because I was famous, because they knew my name, but because energy speaks louder than words ever will. You project power when you own the space you're in. You don't need to dominate it, just own it. Think about animals for a second. Lion doesn't roar every few seconds to remind others it's a lion. It doesn't have to. Its very posture, the calm, the steadiness, the grounded confidence, tells everything you need to know. That's nature's version of presence. You are no different. Now, here's what most people get wrong. They try to fake confidence by puffing up their chest or forcing a smile. But real presence doesn't come from tension. It comes from relaxation. You're comfortable in your own body. Your energy flows naturally. You move with ease. You breathe slower. You make fewer unnecessary gestures. You're not performing, you're radiating. And that's what makes people lean in, even when you haven't said a word. If you want instant respect, train yourself to walk like someone who belongs everywhere they go. Not with arrogance, but with quiet certainty. Every time you enter a room, tell yourself, I deserve to be here. Because when your mind believes it, your body confirms it, and everyone else begins to believe it too. Start noticing how you stand when you talk to people. Do you shrink a little when someone intimidating speaks to you? Do you fidget, cross your arms, look down? Those are the moments when you unconsciously give away your presence. Catch them, breathe, reset, open your shoulders, straighten your spine, let your arms rest naturally by your sides. Look up. That tiny shift changes the entire conversation without a word. And here's the secret most people never realize. Posture isn't just about how others see you. It's about how you see yourself. When you carry yourself with strength, your brain releases chemicals that boost confidence and clarity. It's biology. You feel more capable because your body is signaling, I am safe, I am strong, I am ready. You become what you repeatedly embody. So tomorrow when you wake up, just scroll your phone or rush out the door. Stand in front of a mirror for a moment. Lift your chin. Take a deep breath. Feel your feet connect to the floor. Yourself in the eye and remind yourself, this is what respect looks like before words are spoken. And when you walk into that meeting, that classroom, that gathering, don't try to impress anyone. Let your posture speak first. Because the truth is simple, the world listens differently when your presence enters the room before your voice does. Respect starts long before you open your mouth. It starts the moment you decide to stand like someone who deserves it. There's a moment, just a few seconds. When you first meet someone and everything is decided, you don't realize it consciously. In those first silent seconds, your brain is asking, can I trust this person? Do they respect me? Should I respect them? And the answer usually comes from one thing: eye contact. Eye contact is one of the most powerful, underestimated tools for creating instant respect. It's not about staring people down or trying to dominate them. It's about connection. A quiet signal that says, I see you, I'm here, I'm present. Most people struggle with this because they're either afraid of being seen or too eager to be liked. But when you master the balance, eye contact becomes your unspoken language of confidence. Think about it. When someone avoids your gaze, instinct tells you something's off. Maybe they're unsure, nervous, or hiding something. On the other hand, when someone locks eyes with you with calm, steadiness, not arrogance, aggression, just presence, it changes the energy of the entire interaction. You instantly feel their certainty. You feel grounded just by being near them. That's the kind of presence that earns respect without a single word. I look at someone, I'm not just looking at them, I'm connecting with them. There's a difference. Looking at someone is mechanical. Connecting with someone is intentional. It means you're fully there, not thinking about what you'll say next, not judging them, not performing, just listening through your eyes. People can feel that. They can feel when your attention is genuine, and that kind of attention is rare. That's why it commands respect. But let's be honest, for many people, eye contact feels uncomfortable. You feel exposed, like someone can see straight into your thoughts. And that's exactly why it's powerful, because eye contact isn't just a tool for influence, it's a mirror. It forces you to confront how you feel about yourself. If you can't hold someone's gaze calmly, it usually means you haven't learned to hold your own. You haven't yet accepted the power in your presence. So how do you shift that? You start by grounding yourself before you engage. Take a breath. Feel your feet. Center your energy. When you enter a conversation, don't dart your eyes around the room. Anchor them. Look at the person you're speaking to like they're the only one in the world for that moment. You don't need to lock in constantly. That would be unnatural. You just need to maintain enough contact that they feel your focus, your steadiness, your respect. There's something deeply human about that connection. It's ancient, hardwired into our DNA. For thousands of years, before language evolved, humans relied on eye contact to signal safety, dominance, truth, and intention. Even now, you can't fake it. You can fake a smile, fake enthusiasm, fake confidence, but your eyes always tell the truth. People may not consciously know why they trust or respect someone, but subconsciously, they're reading every subtle cue in your eyes. You're calm, your gaze is calm. When you're authentic, your gaze is open. When you're grounded, your gaze has weight. That's the kind of eye contact that makes people listen without you having to raise your voice. You could walk into a negotiation, a boardroom, or a family discussion and say nothing at all. But if your eyes communicate presence and certainty, you've already said enough. Now, there's a difference between confidence and confrontation. Some people mistake eye contact for a show of dominance. They hold it too long, too hard, as if to say, I'm stronger than you. That's insecurity in disguise. True power doesn't need to prove itself. True power looks, connects, and allows. It's patient. It's centered. Respectful eye contact doesn't intimidate. It inspires. Practice it in small ways. When you talk to someone today, notice if your eyes wander when they speak. Notice if you glance at your phone or look past them. Then choose differently. Meet their eyes just long enough to let them feel you're listening, really listening. When you do, you'll see how people open up, how they soften, how they start mirroring your energy. That's not manipulation. That's leadership. And it's not only about how others see you. It's about how you begin to see the world. When you start holding eye contact comfortably, you start holding life comfortably. You stop shrinking from moments. You stop running from discomfort. You begin to stand in who you are quietly, fully, unshakably. You communicate that you're not afraid to see or be seen. That's magnetic, because respect isn't about volume. It's not about how loud you speak or how forcefully you act. Respect is about depth, the depth of your presence, the depth of your awareness. And nothing reflects that depth more clearly than your eyes. So the next time you walk into a room, before you say a word, remember this: you don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to announce your worth. Just meet people's eyes with calm certainty. Let them feel your attention, your truth, your steadiness. When your eyes speak respect, the world can't help but return it. Clothes don't make the person, but they absolutely make the first impression. And in many cases, that first impression is the one that lasts. We live in a world where people make judgments in seconds. Most of those judgments are unconscious. They aren't thinking about your skills, your intelligence, or your heart. They're reading every visual signal you give them, and nothing communicates more loudly than the way you present yourself. You dress with intention, you're sending a message before a word is spoken. Clean lines, well-fitted clothing, polished shoes. These are not vanity, they are respect in action. You're telling the world, I take myself seriously. I respect the space, I respect the people I meet, and the subtle power of that statement cannot be overstated. People respond instinctively to it. They don't just notice you, they feel you. Most people underestimate how much energy they project through appearance. You've seen it before. Someone walks into a room and instantly they command attention. They haven't said a word, but heads turn. The posture, the movement, the clothes, every piece aligned, every detail sending a signal that they belong and they carry authority. That's the difference between someone who's merely present and someone who's respected before opening their mouth. But let's be clear, dressing for respect is not about fashion trends or labels. It's about consistency and clarity. It's about crafting an image that communicates who you are, not what you can buy. It's not flashy, it's intentional. Every color, every fabric, every detail should be a silent affirmation of your values, your professionalism, and your presence. You don't need a tailor-made suit for this to work. You need awareness and purpose. When I talk to people about dressing intentionally, I emphasize alignment. Your clothing should align with the environment, with your goals, and with the energy you want to project. Walk into a high-powered meeting and wrinkled, L-fitting clothes, and your presence diminishes. Into the same room, dress thoughtfully, and suddenly you're part of the conversation before you even speak. That's the power of appearance. Clothing is also about self-respect. The way you present yourself is a reflection of the respect you have for yourself. If you dress carelessly, your body and mind subconsciously register that. You start to shrink into your own image, to move through the world in a way that signals hesitation or doubt. On the other hand, when you take care of your appearance, when you present yourself intentionally, your mind matches that energy. Confidence rises naturally. You start to inhabit your space fully. You walk taller, breathe deeper, and carry authority effortlessly. This doesn't just influence how people perceive you. It influences how they interact with you. People respond to the energy of someone who has aligned their outer self with their inner self. They sense the discipline, the intentionality, the clarity. It's not about impressing anyone superficially. It's about signaling that you are someone who respects yourself and, by extension, respects others. That alone earns respect in ways words never could. Think about the subtle details, too. The way your shoes are polished, the condition of your claws, coordination of colors. These are the small signals that subconsciously tell others this person notices, this person cares, and care is contagious. People reflect the attention you give to yourself back to you. If you show care in your appearance, they show care in their attention. They listen more, they engage more for more. Most people focus on what they say, on how they perform, but the truth is that the world responds first to what it sees. It's biological. Humans are wired to respond to visual cues long before words can register. You are constantly communicating through your presence, and your clothing is one of the most potent, immediate tools at your disposal. Misalign it, you undercut yourself before you even speak. Align it, and you amplify every other gesture, every other signal, every other action you take. Now, I want you to realize this dressing intentionally is a skill, not a vanity exercise. It's a form of preparation, like learning a speech or practicing your posture. You wouldn't walk into an important meeting unprepared. Don't walk into it visually unprepared either. Think of it as armor. Not to hide, but to empower. It gives you the silent authority to command attention, to draw respect, to create an energy that precedes your words. And it works in subtle, profound ways. People may not consciously remember your outfit. They may not recall the exact color or fabric. They will remember how you felt in the room. They will remember the presence you carried. They will remember that sense of command that existed even before a word was spoken. That's the invisible, undeniable power of dressing with purpose. So every morning, before you step out, consider this. Are you presenting yourself in a way that commands respect without a word? Are you sending the message you want the world to receive? Because when your appearance aligns with your presence and your purpose, you enter a room with authority, you carry energy that draws people in, and you earn respect effortlessly. When you understand that, you realize that respect truly begins with how you show up visually, long before a single word is spoken. Every movement you make, every gesture, every step, it communicates something to the people around you. Most people underestimate how much power their movements hold. They rush, fidget, or gesture wildly, and they don't realize that their energy is speaking louder than their words. Every nervous tap of the foot, every jitter of the hand, every hurried glance tells the world, I am unsure, I am anxious, I am distracted. But when you move with calm and intention, you send the exact opposite message. You say, I am centered, I am in control, I belong here. Think about it for a moment. The way someone walks into a room sets the tone for how others perceive them. A person who storms in, shoulders tense, moving quickly may seem anxious, defensive, or desperate to prove themselves. Contrast that with someone who steps in deliberately, grounded feet, controlled movements, a steady rhythm. Suddenly, everything changes. The energy shifts. People notice. They adjust their posture to match yours. They listen more carefully. They respond differently, not because you said anything, because your presence is steady, intentional, and commanding. Calm movement is not just about appearing relaxed. It's about showing control over your own energy. When you move deliberately, when every gesture has purpose, people feel it. There's a subtle power and restraint. The world is filled with people who overact, overcompensate, and overspeak. Those who understand how to move slowly, steadily, and confidently command attention effortlessly. They don't need to shout or force dominance. Their movements already do the work. When you interact with others, notice your hands. Are they tense? Are they flailing or gesturing erratically? Or do they move naturally with intention, punctuating ideas without distracting from your presence? Controlled gestures show mastery. They indicate that you are in control of your emotions, of your environment, and ultimately of yourself. And when people sense self-mastery, they automatically give you respect. It's the same with how you walk and stand. Many people walk as if they're trying not to be noticed, shrinking into their own shadow. Others stride as if the world owes them something, overcompensating with arrogance. The truth lies in balance, in a grounded, centered stride that projects calm confidence. Feet planted firmly, shoulders aligned, spine straight, head up. Every step becomes a statement, a signal that you are deliberate and present, even small. Subtle movements matter. The way you lean in during a conversation, the way you nod or pause before responding, the way you take up space. All of it communicates more than words ever could. People may not consciously notice these cues, but they feel them. Feelings influence perception more than logic does. Calm, intentional movement generates trust, admiration, and ultimately respect. This principle extends beyond human interaction. Think about the natural world. Observe a predator moving through its environment. Every step is calculated, every motion measured, every movement purposeful. There's power in precision, strength in economy, authority and control. Human behavior is no different. Your movements are deliberate. When you move through life with intention, people sense it. They know you are someone who is grounded, someone they can trust, someone who commands attention without needing to demand it. Controlled movement also affects how you feel internally. When you move too quickly or frantically, your mind races, anxiety builds, confidence dwindles. But when you slow down, when you bring awareness to each gesture, each step, each action, your mind calms, you think clearer, you act more strategically, you engage more fully. Movement in this way becomes a tool not just for perception, but for personal mastery. Most people overlook the connection between movement and respect because they focus on words and achievements. But respect begins long before words are spoken. It begins with energy, with presence, with the silent language of movement. You control your gestures, your posture, and your pace. You create an aura that commands attention naturally. People lean in, they mirror your calm energy, they instinctively respond to your grounded presence. Even in moments of stress or confrontation, controlled movement is a superpower. When everyone else is reacting impulsively, moving quickly, showing tension, deliberate, calm stands out. It signals authority, it signals mastery, it signals that you are not driven by fear or chaos. When you move with that kind of intentionality consistently, respect becomes automatic. It is earned silently, consistently, invisibly, without a single word. So as you step into the world tomorrow, pay attention to your body, to your gestures. Let every movement communicate confidence, calm, and control. Let your presence be anchored in deliberate energy, because how you move is how people will remember you long before they hear a single word from your mouth. Respect is not shouted. It is projected, one deliberate intentional gesture, one controlled motion at a time. There is a strange kind of power in silence, a power that most people completely overlook. In our world today, we are taught to fill every space, every pause, every moment with words. We feel uncomfortable when no one is talking. We think silence is emptiness, weakness, or awkwardness. But in reality, silence is one of the strongest tools you can possess because it communicates more than words ever could. Think about the people you've met who command respect instantly. They don't rush to speak. They don't try to fill every pause with noise. They simply exist in the moment, and their presence is undeniable. You feel it, you sense it. You start to listen to them even before they speak. That is the kind of power that silence holds. It creates a magnetic field around you. People lean in. People pay attention. People wait not because you demand it, because you naturally hold their focus. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is intention. It's a declaration that you are confident enough not to rush. You don't need to prove yourself with every word. You don't need to fill the air with chatter just to be noticed. When you master silence, you master the energy in the room. You show others that you are calm, collected, and fully present. And when people sense that presence, respect follows automatically. Most people are afraid of silence because it feels exposing. It forces you to confront yourself. When there's no noise, no distractions, no performance, you're left with your own presence. That's why the ones who embrace silence stand out. They are comfortable with themselves. They don't need approval. They don't need to validate their existence with words. And the world instinctively notices that. People respect those who are self-contained, do not seek attention, but naturally command it. Silence also gives you the gift of observation. When you stop talking, you start seeing. You notice details about people, about situations, about energy that most miss while busy filling the space with words. You hear the unspoken truths. You pick up on the micro expressions, the hesitations, the subtle shifts in tone and posture. That awareness gives you power, the power to respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. And when people realize that you are truly aware, truly present, they respect it. The key is to be comfortable in the silence without using it as a shield or a weapon. Some people use quiet to intimidate, to assert dominance, or to manipulate. That's not the silence we're talking about. True silence is calm, composed, and intentional. It's a reflection of inner strength. It's a signal to the world that you don't need to prove yourself through constant talking. You are confident in your presence, your abilities, and your energy. Notice how silence changes the dynamics in conversations. When someone pauses before speaking, others pay attention. When someone listens more than they talk, people feel valued. When someone allows the room to breathe, everyone adjusts to that rhythm. Person who masters silence is not just waiting to speak, they are creating space for clarity, for impact, for presence. And that is a rare skill. People sense it immediately, they lean in, they listen, they respect. Silence also allows your words You finally do speak to carry more weight. Words are powerful, but they become even more powerful when contrasted against deliberate pauses. If you speak constantly, your energy is diluted. If you pause, if you let silence linger just long enough, suddenly your words have gravity. They resonate, they command attention. And that's why the most respected people in any room are often not the loudest. They are the ones who choose their moments carefully, letting silence amplify their voice. Learning to be comfortable with silence starts with practice. Begin in small ways. When someone asks you a question, resist the urge to answer immediately. Take a breath. Observe. Let the silence exist for a moment. Watch how the energy shifts, how people wait. Notice how their perception of you changes. Over time, this becomes second nature. You no longer fear silence, you use it. You command it, you flow with it. And here's the deeper truth: silence is a reflection of self-respect. You are comfortable being quiet. You show that you trust yourself, that you trust the world, that you trust the moment. You are not desperate to be heard or validated. That kind of presence radiates naturally. People don't just notice it, they respect it. They follow it. So the next time you feel the urge to fill every pause, to rush into the noise, to speak just for the sake of speaking, stop, take a breath. Stand firm in your presence. Let the silence do the work. Let the room adjust to your calm. Let people feel the weight of your awareness, your confidence, and your energy. Respect doesn't need sound. It starts in silence. Respect is not something you demand. It's not a badge you pin on yourself or a title you claim. Real respect is earned, quietly, subtly, without a single word. And the most powerful way to earn it is by giving it first. When you approach others with attentiveness, consideration, genuine regard, the world mirrors that energy back to you. It's a simple principle, but most people overlook it because they think respect is a transaction, that you give it only when it is returned. That's not how it works. Respect is a reflection of who you are and how you choose to move through the world. Consider the way we interact with strangers, colleagues, or even friends. When someone listens to you fully without interrupting or dismissing, you feel valued. That feeling is instant. You don't analyze it consciously, you just experience it. Now imagine embodying that same quality toward others consistently. When you show genuine attentiveness, when you treat every person as worthy of your presence, you send a signal of strength. People sense it, they recognize it, and they respond with respect. The foundation of this kind of respect is awareness. It's about noticing people, really noticing them, their words, their body language, their energy. You give someone your full attention, you communicate that they matter. That silent acknowledgement carries more weight than any speech, any explanation, any argument. People instinctively respect those who see them, truly see them, because in a world full of distraction, being noticed is a rare gift. Boundaries are another critical aspect. Respect is not about being agreeable all the time. It's about defining your space, your values, and your energy, holding them with calm authority. People instinctively respect those who know their limits, who stand firm in their convictions without aggression, and who communicate their boundaries clearly through presence, posture, and action. You respect yourself first, others follow suit. They don't need to be told, they just mirror your energy. Kindness plays a surprising role here as well. Strength and respect are often associated with power, dominance, or control, but the truth is, genuine kindness enhances respect. When you interact with humility, when you extend patience and understanding, you reveal a mastery of yourself that others instinctively admire. It is not weakness, it is self-assuredness expressed through compassion. The quiet confidence of someone who can be strong without being harsh commands a deeper level of respect than the loudest voice in the room. This principle also works in high-pressure situations. When conflict arises, when tension builds, the way you respond says more than words ever could. Most people react emotionally, raising their voices, gesturing wildly, trying to assert dominance. The person who maintains composure, who listens first, who chooses action over reaction, silent respect. They become a steady point in the storm. Their energy signals that they are unshakable, grounded, and deliberate. And people notice, people follow, people respect it. It's also important to understand that respect is not universal. Earn it from everyone, and that's okay. What matters is the consistency of your energy. When you consistently approach the world with integrity, attentiveness, and intentionality, people who resonate with that energy will naturally gravitate toward you. Respect grows quietly like roots beneath the surface, visible only to those who are attuned to the depth of your presence. Respect begins with simple choices. It's the decision to stop interrupting, to pause before speaking, to listen with curiosity rather than judgment. It's the choice to treat every person, regardless of their status or role, with dignity. Small actions compound over time. A nod, steady gaze, a calm presence. These are signals that are felt deeply even if they are not consciously noticed. Over time, this consistent energy creates a field of respect around you that precedes any introduction, any speech, any assertion. Ultimately, respect is a mirror. When you show it, you receive it. When you embody it, you attract it. It's not about perfection. It's about intention. The person who respects others naturally exudes authority without effort. They are magnetic not because they demand it, but because they create an environment in which respect naturally thrives. People are drawn to that energy, compelled by its authenticity and steadiness. So as you move through your day, think about the way you treat people around you. Notice the moments where you can pause, observe, and give your attention. Notice where you can stand firm in your values while remaining calm and kind. Respect others first, fully and intentionally, Watch how the world responds. When you do this, respect becomes not something you chase, but something that flows to you effortlessly.